Well, I got another somewhat long video for you today, comparing photogrammetry enabled and disabled here in New York City. Now my settings are substantially different than my last settings video, which came out I think now about 3 weeks ago. The reason being is because I am now using the virtual desktop runtime as opposed to SteamVR, so Steam is no longer installed on my computer. If you've watched my videos in the past, you know that Oculus is not installed, nor any of the Oculus tools, because I don't use the Oculus Link or the Earlink. I use the Virtual Desktop Quest app along with Virtual Desktop Streamer. And right now, all of my sim settings, or most of them, are actually up on high. I do have photogrammetry enabled right now. I normally do not fly with it because on my system, it makes things look blobby. I don't like the way it looks on trees and some of the buildings, and so it's, for my system, it just doesn't look good, and it's such a killer on the performance that I almost never fly with it anyhow. But you can see, I mean, you know, for photorealistic buildings, I'm not sure that the hit to the performance is worth it for me. But anyways, we just took off here. I think that was Teterboro Airport, and we are not far from New York skyline. It's over here to the left, and so we're going to just look at some of these buildings, and I can see already that it's, you know, it's stuttery. It's not as smooth as when the photogrammetry is disabled. So we're going to fly a little bit. We're going to go right into the city, and then we're going to take a look at the buildings in the city at photogrammetry enabled, and then we're going to fly somewhat similar with photogrammetry disabled. And then at the very end, for those of you that aren't familiar with the Magister, the CM Magister from CM170 Magister, Fuga Magister from Azure Poly. It is a real awesome jet. Very, very agile, very easy to control, a lot of fun to fly. And it's a good one to go sightseeing in the cities because it does fit between the buildings. So anyhow, ending of the video, I'm going to switch to the co-pilot seat and see what it is like for the poor person sitting behind me. All right, and thanks for watching. See what you think in the difference performance-wise, and I'll show you my settings here that I'm currently using in-game, as well as the settings for my virtual desktop. My virtual desktop settings and streamer are pretty much the same as they have been. The only difference is I'm trying different codecs within the virtual desktop streamer. I think right now I'm on the one that's labeled for the Quest 3, but it seems to be doing okay for the most part with the Quest 2 headset. We'll see how it continues on, and still looking at beta updates for Sim Update 14 here. I think I'm on the 3rd release right now of the beta, Sim Update 14. So, I mean, from here the buildings aren't too bad, but when I get into my level, my close, you know, they start looking very odd to me. And yes, yeah, photogrammetry turned off makes the buildings look more like a video game, but then that's what it is. And, you know, until I can get a better system, I mean, this doesn't look too bad right now, quite frankly. And it's not as stuttery as it has been in the past, so maybe I just need to make some tweaks and turn some settings down and make this a little bit smoother. But check it out. In a few minutes they're gonna go through the park, come back through the street, and then turn off photogrammetry, and then come back and do the same basic flying, go back to the airport, land, switch to the co-pilot seat, and then take off again and do a little flying as with the sitting in the back. Thanks for watching. So these are where my current settings are, and if you look, you notice I have high, 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 medium, medium, high, high, medium, and my terrain is set to 100. So the settings are much higher than I have played with in a long time. And yet, as you can see right now, with the photogrammetry disabled going right through the middle of the city here, to me that's pretty smooth. And the difference between this and you just saw me do almost the same exact pattern a second ago in photogrammetry. I did the same circle on the park because this is one of my favorite flights. The building over here, the passing over, I mean, all of this still looks the same. Trees, ponds, golf courses. So the buildings don't have all the individual shapes, but the performance is so much better. And I don't care if it doesn't look 100%. Again, it's a sim, it's a game, it's not the real world. So the fact that we could even fly and look left and right and have shadows and sunlight moving across the dashboard and reflections and everything else, darn fine in my opinion.